You are walking down a hallway. Something moves in the corner of your eye. Your body jerks back before your mind even knows why. You haven't seen a threat yet. You haven't thought a single thought. But you're already moving. Your heart is already pounding. And the strange part is this. The real answer is far stranger than instinct. Because what just happened inside you didn't start with your eyes. It didn't start with your brain deciding anything. It started with a shortcut. A shortcut so old, so deeply wired, that it existed in your ancestors long before they had language, long before they had fire, long before they even looked like you. Think about the last time you jumped at a shadow or gasped at a rope that looked for half a second like a snake. Your thinking brain came in late. It arrived after the flinch, not before it. Something else made the call, something faster, something older. That something is a small almond-shaped cluster of neurons buried deep in your skull. Scientists call it the amygdala. In plain English, it's your brain's alarm system. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't wait for facts. It reacts first and explains itself later. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux spent decades studying exactly this pathway. He discovered that sensory information entering your brain doesn't travel one road, it travels two. One road goes to your cortex, the thinking part of your brain, where you consciously process what you're seeing. That road is slow, careful, deliberate. But there's a second road, a shortcut. Ledoux called it the low road. Information takes this path straight to the amygdala, skipping conscious thought entirely. It's faster, rougher, less accurate, but it's fast enough to save your life before your thinking brain even catches up. Why would evolution build something so sloppy? Why would it prioritize speed over accuracy? Because for most of human history, accuracy didn't matter as much as survival. Imagine your ancestors standing at the edge of tall grass. A shape moves. Maybe it's wind. Maybe it's a leopard. The ones who waited to be sure, who wanted proof before they reacted, often didn't get a second chance. The ones who flinched first and asked questions later did. This is what psychologists call the smoke detector principle. A smoke detector that goes off too often is annoying, but a smoke detector that fails once during an actual fire is fatal. Your amygdala is built the same way. It would rather be wrong 100 times than miss the one moment that actually threatens your life. Psychologist Arne Ullman ran a series of experiments testing exactly this idea. He showed people images of snakes, spiders, flowers, and mushrooms. Then he measured how quickly people detected each one in a crowded visual field. People spotted snakes and spiders far faster than flowers or mushrooms, even when the images were flashed for a fraction of a second. Even people who had never encountered a real snake in their lives showed the same rapid detection. This wasn't learned in a classroom. It wasn't something their parents warned them about that morning. It was already there, waiting, passed down through generations of ancestors who lived and survived alongside real predators. Here's where it gets stranger. Ullman's research suggested this fear response could be triggered even when people weren't consciously aware they'd seen the threatening image at all. Their bodies reacted. Their skin conductance spiked. Their heart rate shifted. All before their conscious mind had time to register what it had even looked at. Your body, in other words, can be afraid of something before you know you're afraid. Now think about your own life, not tall grass, not leopards. Think about the buzz of your phone during a work meeting, the sudden creak of a floorboard at 2 a.m., the moment someone raises their voice near you in a parking lot. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a leopard and a loud voice. It just knows. Threat detected. React now. Think later. This is why you can feel your pulse spike over an email that turns out to be nothing. Why a slammed door can make your whole body go rigid for a second, even in your own home. Your nervous system isn't malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it was built to do hundreds of thousands of years ago in a world with very different dangers. Neuroendocrinologist Robert Sapolsky has spent much of his career studying what happens when this ancient alarm system meets modern life. In his research on stress physiology, he points out something unsettling. Zebras get stressed for exactly as long as the lion is chasing them, and then their bodies return to normal. Humans, on the other hand, can trigger the same stress response just by imagining the lion, by replaying an argument in their head, by worrying about a meeting that hasn't happened yet. Your amygdala cannot tell the difference between an actual chase and an imagined one. It fires the same alarm either way: adrenaline, cortisol, racing heart, tunnel vision. All the tools your ancestors needed to escape a predator, activated by a memory or a text message or an old argument you can't stop replaying. This is the twist most people never think about. You are not walking around with a broken nervous system. You are walking around with a perfectly preserved ancient one. It hasn't updated. It hasn't caught up to elevators or crowded subways or comment sections or the ping of a notification at midnight. It still thinks every sudden movement might be a predator. Every raised voice might be a fight. Every unexpected silence might mean something is wrong. And here's the part that reframes everything. That flinch you feel isn't weakness. It isn't anxiety in the clinical sense, and it isn't something broken in you. It's proof that something in you still works exactly as it was designed to. It's a signal passed down through an unbroken chain of ancestors who survived long enough to have children, who survived long enough to have you. Every time your body reacts before your mind catches up, you are, in a strange way, hearing from every person who came before you. The ones who didn't wait to be sure, the ones who moved first. You inherited their alarm system. And in a world that no longer has leopards hiding in the grass, that alarm system doesn't always know where to point itself. So what do you do with an ancient warning system in a modern world? You don't try to silence it. You can't, not really. What you can do is understand it. When your heart rate spikes over something that turns out to be nothing, that isn't your body failing you. That's 40,000 years of survival instinct trying to keep you alive in a world it doesn't fully recognize anymore. Some researchers suggest a simple practice for this: naming what's happening in the moment. Recognizing out loud or silently that this is an old alarm responding to a new kind of noise. Not every flinch needs a fight. Not every spike in your pulse needs an escape. Sometimes it just needs a moment of recognition. This is old wiring meeting a new world. Think again about that hallway, that shape in the corner of your eye. Your body moved before you decided anything. It wasn't a flaw. It wasn't overreaction. It was the same system that kept your ancestors alive long enough to become your ancestors at all. You are walking down a hallway. Something moves in the corner of your eye. And this time, when your body flinches before your mind catches up, you understand exactly why. It isn't your nervous system malfunctioning. It's tens of thousands of years of survival, still quietly doing its job.